With the extension of another season here in Vigor in Season 7, it's gotten me thinking about Vigor's Battle Pass. In any game with seasons, a Battle Pass is obviously core to a player's experience of that season. When done correctly, Battle Passes can be amazing. Battle Passes is actually a great value for gamers. It also works out really well for game development and game studios who wish to make money off their games. It has enabled a really potent free-to-play model that really, up until Fortnite and the Battle Pass came along, did not exist. A lot of free-to-play games were pay-to-win games, and a lot of players were really unhappy with the model that existed previous to this. But Battle Passes came along and all of a sudden created this way to enjoy a free-to-play game, to support the developers while simultaneously being rewarded season in and season out. When done correctly, Battle Passes keep you in the season the entire length of the season. When done correctly, Battle Passes keep you playing the game longer than you otherwise would. When done correctly, players feel that they are earning their progress. And this progress really creates that carrot on the stick mentality. I've got to keep going. I see my goal there at level 50, at level cap, whatever it is. I need to get there. I need to play the game more to get there, or consistently to get there, or just make sure I played as much as possible this season to get as much as the rewards as I'd like to get. And so I pose the question, is Vigor's Battle Pass good? Is it something that keeps players playing the game an entire season? And if it is not, what are ways that Vigor can improve their Battle Pass to benefit both the developers and us as players? In thinking about this and thinking about the Vigor Battle Pass, there are 5 attributes that I really want to discuss here. That first is the cost, second is cosmetics, third is levels, replayability, and the overall question, is this Battle Pass, is Vigor's Battle Pass a good value? Is it worth it? First up, let's start with cost. The cost of Vigor's Battle Pass season in and season out is $20. This is on the high end for Battle Passes. Most of the mainstream Battle Passes cost around $10 usually. There are a couple out there that do indeed cost $20, however. So it's not, out of the range of possibility with Battle Passes and the Battle Pass culture. Now, with the Vigor Battle Pass, as with other Battle Passes, you can earn the Battle Pass for next season. You can earn enough crowns by completing the Battle Pass in order to pay for your next season's Battle Pass. However, it's not enough crowns usually to buy any other extra cosmetics in the store, and limits you pretty much to just Battle Pass season in and season out. And so at $20, this is my first thing that I think that they could improve about the Battle Pass, and that is lowering it to the standard that is $10. Again, there are some other Battle Passes that do cost $20. However, $10 seems to really be the standard, and I think Vigor could do themselves a huge favor by lowering it to $10. I think you would get a lot more people paying for the Battle Pass. Having said that, it's not a deal breaker to me. Vigor's good enough, in my opinion, to pay the $20 every season. However, every time I do, I think to myself, ooh, that's a little steep for a Battle Pass. So I do think them lowering it to $10 would, like I said, be a huge boon in their favor and would really help to improve both the appearance of value with the Battle Pass and actual real-world value with the Battle Pass. Now let's get into cosmetics, because cosmetics is ultimately what makes up a Battle Pass. There are lots of things offered in Battle Passes. There are guns, there are badges, there is crowns, obviously, or whatever the monetary system is of the game that you play, and then there is cosmetics. Cosmetics, skins, character skins, clothing, these are the big ticket items in every single Battle Pass, no matter what game you're in, and that's what ultimately brings value. So does Vigor do enough in the cosmetic department to warrant their Battle Pass or purchase of their Battle Pass? And I think for the most part they do. Recognize Vigor doesn't have the most flashy game in the world. It's never going to have an Avengers partnership or the colors and pizzazz that an Apex Legend does or a Fortnite, right? It's got to somewhat keep itself in this feeling of reality. And with that, I do think they do a pretty good job when it comes to cosmetics. They have amazing gas masks that you can put on, hats, bandanas, glasses, coats, jackets, backpacks, the whole 9 yards. I think they do a pretty decent job each and every single season of giving us the right amount of cosmetics for a Battle Pass. And so when it comes to cosmetics, I don't think that there's really much that Vigor can do to improve. I think they are doing a pretty good job overall with cosmetics, and I'm very satisfied with it. Obviously, this is going to be very subjective as to different styles, different seasons. Do you like it or not? But for me, I find that Vigor has always pretty much nailed cosmetics in my opinion, and this is not something that I think needs to be worked on. Obviously, it should be something consistently worked on, as you always want to bring the best cosmetics to your battle pass for your player base to keep them in it. But overall, Vigor does a really good job with cosmetics, I believe. Next up, let's talk about levels. There are 50 levels in this battle pass. This is on the low end for battle passes. A lot of battle passes went to a 100 level season battle pass. Some of them do a 75, some of them even do a little bit more at 150. And in the case of MOBAs, you've got thousands of levels in a battle pass. So 50 levels is a little bit low, and here's where I think that they can improve. Each and every single season for the past 4 seasons, or even more maybe, I've just lost track to be perfectly honest, Vigor has extended their season at the end of each season. And this has done a lot to really kill motivation for a player like me who is really excited to jump into the next season. What is next? What's coming? What's going to be offered? And then you end up extending the season. Now, they are fully transparent about it. I'm not complaining about that. It is something to be expected, and they let you know, hey, if we do have to delay this season, we're going to let you know, and we're going to delay it. Then they add in levels to the battle pass. They give you bonus XP weekend, stuff like that. So it's not that they're not transparent about it. I just don't think it's good for the battle pass. I don't think it's good for Vigor, and I don't think it's good for seasons overall to continuously extend your season when it wasn't originally planned for that. There was a set amount of time that comes to the end of the season, and then they extend it by 2 weeks or so. Instead of that, I wish that they would just start up front with a 75 or a 100 level battle pass. And in doing so, you could automatically start every season with that 2-week extension that you end up doing anyways, only this time it's expected from the front. You're not letting any players down by it. You're also giving players more of a reason to stay in your game longer. Right now, there's a lot of players that grind the battle pass early on, and this is the case with any game, but I feel like in Vigor especially, and I would say by about 3 or 4 weeks into a season, a lot of players has dropped off. And I would be curious, they obviously have internal numbers, but just from an outside player's perspective, you see a lot of level 50s. Once you reach that level 50, there's not a whole lot of reason to continue playing Vigor, and that's where a lot of players probably jump to other games that they enjoy in wait and anticipation for the next season. I think if you extend your levels and you go to a 100 level battle pass or a 75 level battle pass, you not only can increase your time, but you can increase the length that players stay in and play your game. This would also give you time during seasons to do different season events, right? With a 100 level battle pass, you could maybe run one mid-season challenge, right? Extracurricular activity or something that would help spicing up the game as well. But I do think the levels on the battle pass with Vigor could really be improved. 50 does seem a little bit short. It does end up making it feel a little bit stale when you do reach that 50 or you get close to it. I would estimate that an average player playing an hour a day probably ends their season pass between 30 and 40 levels on the battle pass. Not completing it, but again, not putting in a lot of time. Only an hour a day, that's a couple matches a day, and really getting through most of the battle pass, if not completing the battle pass altogether. I think extending it would force you to play more, play longer, play harder. You could also add in additional rewards, and you really, what I would like to see is at that level 100, just some really, really amazing cosmetics, like biggest stuff, best stuff that Vigor has ever done at that 100 level to really pay off for characters. I would grind it. I know a lot of my friends would grind it. I think increasing the levels is something that Vigor could really look at and extend and increase to make their battle pass ultimately a better value for players. And this brings us to the replayability of the battle pass, which means, does the battle pass keep you in the entire season? Is it enough there to keep you in? This is obviously going to be very subjective in that if it's something that you really like, you're going to be in it and playing it. If it's something that you don't like one season, you're not going to be in it, playing it as much. But just from my outside observation, for me personally, I play the game all the time. I'm in and out of the battle pass. I'm looking forward to the next thing to get, and I do that the entire season. Having said that, I'm not sure that most players do that. Just from my observation, as someone who streams this game, as someone who's very involved in this community, and as somebody who plays just a lot of Vigor, I don't know that a lot of players are staying in. I don't know that the correct carrot on the stick is there. 50 levels might seem too much. You might get there too quick. I know for myself, one of the biggest things that I want to get is blueprints. Anytime blueprints come out, blueprints, you know, are at level 20, sometimes level 30, and it seems pretty quickly to get both the blueprints. Once I get those blueprints, I'm not really sticking around because I'm not a cosmetic guy, and then I just really play the game pretty casually, going for kills, going and playing the way that I want to play, not really too concerned about grinding the battle pass. Now, obviously, again, that's going to be different for everybody, but I do think they could use some work here. And I think what we talked about levels, I do think, you know, doing a kick-ass cosmetic thing would be really great. Just one giant one at the end. Although, again, I do think cosmetics, they nail pretty decently. And then finally bringing down the cost, I think ups your replayability as well in a battle pass. If it doesn't cost so much, if it's only $10 instead of $20, I can take that extra $10 that I saved, and now I can buy crowns, and I can purchase stuff in the store, or I can use it to buy insurance, or airdrops, or other in-game enhancements that I'd like to purchase. So I do think the replayability could be worked on, and I think ultimately it just comes down to how you lay out your battle pass that would improve it. Again, I think increasing the levels and lowering the cost would ultimately fix a lot of the issues with replayability that do exist for some players out there. And so overall, is the Battle Pass in Vigor a good value? I do think it is. Yes, absolutely. I enjoy the Battle Pass. I like it a lot. I think you could make it a bigger value and a more obvious value to players by lowering the cost and increasing the levels. I think that would also help with your replayability. That is where I think Vigor can improve. I think especially when you're a free-to-play title on the Xbox and PlayStation, you're not yet on PC, you probably skew a little bit younger in your demographics, and a lot of kids just don't have $20. Lowering it to $10 gives kids access to that. Keep in mind, you also are competing with games like Apex and Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone and every other game on the planet that has a battle pass, and they're all doing it for $10 and doing a lot more content and doing in-season events. And so I think lowering the cost, upping your levels would really go a long way to improving the Battle Pass in Vigor overall. I would love to know what you guys think. What did I miss? What did I get right? Where am I wrong? Again, I recognize that this is a fully 100% subjective observation here in this video, but I do think there are some things that can improve in this Battle Pass. I think extending the length of the Battle Pass, extending the time, would prevent Vigor from having to announce every single season, hey, we've got to extend this for 2 seasons. Just add 2 weeks and start out with extra levels. I think that would give more value to players and ultimately just be a better, more congruent experience for everybody involved. Again, let me know what you guys think. Like this video if you liked this video. Subscribe to this channel if you like what we're doing here. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time.